The Caribbean island of Dominica, beloved by adventure seekers, is inviting travelers to help with H. Is a wild place, but nothing in its wilds can hurt you. No venomous snake, unlike other spots in the West Indies, where the primary lure is lounging on a powder white shore with a cocktail. Travelers journey to Dominica, a volcanic island between and for adventure. Miles of rainforest. One humid morning last December, I slogged up in the rain. On the last section, outdoor enthusiasts champion Dominica as an ecotourism destination, in part because of the 115-mile way to Kubuli, which stretches the length of the island. It's divided into, was the newly reopened resort, 6 private villas on the northwestern coast. Through the resort's related video as the Caribbean rebuilds, now is an important time to visit. My day on the way to Kubuli began when I met up with Annette at the trailhead, where she was waiting with a few other volunteers. We set out along. When I wasn't working, my bungalow at Secret Bay provided a plush refuge. Each morning, Secret Bay's owner, Gregor Nassif, has a passion for immersing his guests in the culture and natural beauty of the island. I drank a sorrel. Despite the plywood-covered windows, headless coconut trees, and sheets of galvanized roofing along the roadside, there were moments when I almost forgot Maria had been here. Every afternoon, I floated in the warm sea, letting the salt water bathe the incisions the razor grass had made on my skin. Overhead, I think, she said, that it's nature's way of cheering us up. To book, doubles from $909. Discover Dominica and Secret Bay provided support for the reporting of this story.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.